Greetings, Twilight Struggle fans. Thank you for joining me today. I've got a good one here. It's Atlantic League semifinals, game two. Josiah Emery, Jim Haefele, rhymes with safely. Jim won the first game. It was a quality contest, and now we are back for game two. And we are looking for if Jim takes this series, if Jim takes this game, then he moves on to the finals to face Ryan Pindelik. If Josiah takes it, it's we'll see you tomorrow night situation. And we'll be back for game three. Thank you. Josiah has joined us in the chat. Thank you, Josiah. And I also appreciate the sub. Thank you so much for being a loyal viewer of this channel. It means a lot to me. So thank you for tagging along, and looking forward to seeing this game. Although we will be watching from Jim's perspective. I'm sure you can catch Josiah's on his channel. I don't know how he likes to pronounce his username. I always think Anthemod, but could be Anthemod. I'm not sure. Maybe Josiah can clear that up for us in the chat. But here we go. Jim with a pretty good opening hand here. He's got a couple of 4-ops. He's got 3 3-ops. 20 ops in his hand. He's got Asia scoring. And Marshall, the obvious headline. If he does see, oh yes, Ryan is going to play the winner of this, and so perhaps Ryan's going to be doing a little scouting today. But Jim goes with Marshall, which is the headline. C5 going to hit Asia. Great headline from Josiah. So he'll see that Jim has Asia, and we're going to see a little game of chicken because Jim, without much in the way of events, but very strong ops to fight here in Asia. So if Josiah had headlined Vietnam, we'd see him take Thailand, and then presumably Jim would take Pakistan, South Korea, and off we go. So we're going to see how Jim wants to fight it this time. Fortunate thing is for Jim, he has no other obligations in his hand besides Asia scoring. He has some very strong ops. He can hold CNS to next turn if need be. He's also already got Europe Dom. So let's see how Josiah decides to play this. I have to think he's going to push hard for Dom. Maybe you go Laos here, and then go into Thailand and Burma. Maybe you go Malaysia and you go into Thailand and Indonesia. Maybe he's going to coup with NATO. Interesting. I'm not sure I understand that, because this allows Jim to dump the scoring immediately, which is what I'd be doing. I would be dumping the scoring immediately, given that it is known. I'm a little confused about the Iran coup, but maybe Josiah has Middle East. So if I were Josiah, I would have taken an Asia Dom on my AR1. If I were Jim, I would have dumped Asia scoring right there. So we will see what these guys decide to do on AR2. Okay, wow. Josiah going to use China right away. 3 into Thailand, 1 Indonesia, 1 South Korea. That's a good play by Josiah. I like that play. It establishes Asia Dom. Jim thinking about a coup, but he needs a huge number. Needs a 5 in Thailand. And if he doesn't get it yet, that's not good enough. Now DEFCON's sitting at 3, and Josiah presumably just takes Thailand back. That's exactly what he's going to do. I wonder if Jim will take a shot at Iran trying to get into Western Asia with DEFCON 3, because now Jim looks like he's going to be dominated in Asia. Yeah, that's fine, but it doesn't even stop Dom is the problem. I like getting access to Laos and putting pressure on Thailand, but that's not good enough to stop domination. Okay, so Comic-Con, not a big deal. Josiah already used China, but presumably he's got a 2-op he can use here to re-secure Thailand. Both players need to still need to get Middle East presence. Okay, just a 2-op. Oh, interesting. Going to establish Iran. Now Jim can flip over Thailand and stop Dom. I wonder if Josiah has Middle East. That play makes sense if Josiah has Middle East. Yeah, he does. Okay. Now I understand. Now I understand a little bit more why Josiah did what he did. I didn't like it. I didn't like that he didn't get Asia Dom, and he went for the coup in Iran, and so he established his Middle East presence while conceding Thailand. Okay, so he picks up 4 VPs, and now Josiah will take Laos. Jim probably needs to coup Iran. Matter of fact, I definitely would coup Iran. Here. And I would lower DEFCON to 2, which protects Thailand. Also gives us a chance with a 50-50 shot of getting into Western Asia first. I like this from Jim. I would do this. Oh, he misses on the roll. Not good enough. But fortunately for Jim, he does draw Nasser. So he's not going to get kicked out of Egypt there. Also gets 2 Europe attack cards and D-stall. But he also gets defectors. Now the question here is, this seems like a no-brainer, defectors, but Josiah is, remember, 5-year plan's gone, and Josiah very well may headline Europe. So we will see. Yeah, Jim is not going to go with defectors with so many great USSR headlines in his hand, but still have to worry about, JR called it, still have to worry about Purge and Blockade. Jim breathes a sigh of relief. And now a decision for Jim, actually. Yeah, you don't have to discard D-stall if you don't want to. You can discard Sock Govs, play China, and hold D-stall, which is what I would do. Yep, I like the decision by Jim. Okay, so Josiah presumably going to take a coup now. Yeah, just a 2-op coup of Egypt. Not good enough. So decall is around. Yeah, I don't mind triggering Korean War and fighting for South Korea here. We want to play China anyway. Okay, well that's annoying, but yeah, I'm fine with this. We also need to take Lebanon. I would put 1 in South Korea and 1 Lebanon, I think. But okay, he'll take South Korea now. Yeah, and now we need Lebanon. Okay, yeah, we're definitely playing China here. So we have to overprotect out with Thailand. We've got to take Lebanon here. I don't. Egypt is less of a. I definitely want Egypt, and overprotecting Thailand is not a huge rush either because we're going to play China. So we need to do it by the end of the turn, but we don't need to do it right here. Lebanon is important. JR is watching, and he drafted at number 1 overall in the non-battleground draft. Clearly, neither of these players watched that. Yeah, and Josiah now takes it. Yeah, I don't like that decision from Jim. I would have gone. We have Nasser in our hand. Egypt could have waited, I think, and so could the overprotective Thailand. So with my 3 ops, I think I would have gone 1 Lebanon, 2 Egypt. But we move on. Still Jim ahead. Jim also now going to have to give up Nasser, though. De Gaulle could theoretically go to space, or Jim could get rid of it, but then he's going to lose Algeria. Okay, boy, a late decall. An all Africa decall. That makes perfect sense. So Jim's got De Gaulle, and now so De Gaulle's an empty AR. Jim can space it. He knew though. Jim knew that I was going to broadcast this game. Jim knew Jim is the one who sent me this video, so he knew that I was going to stream this game and what I would have to say about his use of De Gaulle. So I very much like how he used it there. Now that there was a tougher decision before when Algeria was uncontested, but now with Jim having access to France, with Josiah having access to France anyway, and already in Algeria, De Gaulle less of a big deal. With China, so Sakgov's in the discard. De Gaulle gone. Suez around, though. So Jim might feel the need to overprotect France, but Korean War is also gone. So I would like to see a jam of South Korea here. Also stops Asia Dom. I would very much like to see a big jam of South Korea. North Korea is also fine. A good play by Josiah. Maybe we should have waited on the. Oh, yeah, probably should have. Waited until to AR6 for Nasser. But obviously you don't want to jam something and then only have a one op to follow it up. So I get that. Okay. So Jim now, I'm still fine with this. I like a Laos flip. Get closer to Western Asia. I think I don't think you need to overprotect. I think that's fine. Philippines is fine. Yeah, even Malaysia is fine. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, it's not sexy at all, but it's fine. Yeah, I like this. Okay, turn 3. Okay. So Jim holds D-stall through, and we get Purge, which is critical. What we don't get is Suez. And we also pick up U.S. Japan, and so that's it for 4 ops. Marshall, NATO, NTB all seen. I think this has to be Purge to protect from a France flip post-Suez. Suez almost certainly the headline here from Josiah. Yep. Now Europe still unscored. So we'll see. Josiah may want to score it now. And for 0, he can get out of it for even, or he can take the coup, get his mill ops, and allow the Europe Dom, or maybe he redrew 5-year plan. We'll see if Josiah wants to score Europe now. He does. All right. Well, that's not all bad for Jim. That is maybe not a 4 VP swing because I don't think we've seen IP war or AI war for that matter. But it is a 2 VP swing, and it swings Angola. And it protects Panama. So I don't think that's a bad trade for Jim. And he's also going to keep France long term. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what does Jim need to do now? He needs to retake France. He needs to take Panama. He needs to take Mexico. I would like to see him get 1 in Burma for sure, although I believe IP war is known in Josiah's hand. I would still like to see 1 in Burma, just to threaten it, just to make Josiah spend ops there while he's purged. But yeah, Mexico, Panama is fine. UK is important as well because of special. Although if Josiah had special in his hand, he would have used it right there instead of independent reds. Okay, Jim with a pretty good hand here. Question is for Jim what he wants to do with Vietnam. I don't know if he wants to concede Vietnam. He might be inclined to take Vietnam and then either space Vietnam or have that be an empty action round. Oh boy, China play here under Purge. A little confused by that. Yeah, I'm fine just I think I'm fine just flipping Laos back here. I would also be fine with one Vietnam, one Burma, actually. I think one Vietnam, one Burma, and one Philippines is fine too. Yeah, I like Burma. I like Burma. Oh boy. Okay, another. All right, so he's going to block off India. So, yeah, I like taking Vietnam. I like this. Okay, so Josiah did redraw Asia. And Josiah didn't have much in the way of better places to put his ops. He could have filled up Middle East battlegrounds, I guess. Okay, IP war to get his mill ops. That will not hit. And then Jim probably gonna hold Vietnam. I like South Africa. I like retaking France. I like South Africa. I like Guatemala. Although some players don't like Guatemala because they want to get a free Che if they draw turn 4. Um, I like. I don't like leaving France at 2-1. I would be more okay at 3-1, but I really don't like the idea of losing France, of potentially losing France, whenever when Josiah has desire to spend 4 ops there. Okay, Jim decides instead to take Middle East Dom. That makes sense. Okay, on a great hand for Jim here, he picks up puppets. He gets Camp David. Nuke subs also is great. And he gets salt, so we know that Josiah won't be able to salt for D-stall. Josiah with an 8 VP lead here. And the one thing that Jim does not have, he does not have a DEFCON degrader, he does not have a coup stealer. So Josiah should get his coup here. Question is, what's the headline? I'm not sure it's nuke subs. Not sure it's salt either. Yeah, I like Camp David as the headline. It's not sexy at all, but I think it's fine. Okay, and that's not bad either because Camp David triggers after Muslims and gets us right back in. So if Josiah were planning to take out of Egypt and Libya and then flip Libya, now that option is gone. Yeah, 3 in Jordan, gross. But I think this will just be Saudi Libya. Just take out of the battlegrounds. Is a very interesting hand for Jim. Oh, just gonna use Duck to take Libya. Okay, Jim will happily take those 3 VPs. And now I think you trigger puppets. I wouldn't be so quick to spend alliance here. Puppets get you into South America. You can fill it up and score alliance for 5 or maybe even 6. I would not play alliance for ops here. You got a lot of cards in your hand here that are good events. I would ignore the Middle East. Honestly, I don't think it's a big deal. We're going to get dominated there. If he has Middle East, he has it. I would trigger puppets now. and then we can focus the rest of the turn on spreading, even using China if we need to, and then we can get Alliance. We can pick up South America control. We can get Alliance off for a big number. Yeah, I like this. That yes, and just do Brazil. Oh, or Pakistan. Ooh, what about Pakistan? What about Pakistan, Jim? What about Pakistan? No, all right. With Asia scored, I guess Pakistan's not that great, and you want to get a little bit of insurance there in South America, so that makes sense. Okay, just going to try real lines in Chile. Is that going to work? No, no, and no. All right, got to spread out immediately. Oh, no, 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 don't use that. I don't like using that. I would much rather use 5-year plan for this. Because alliance can be a big number. I don't like that decision from Jim, because I think Jim could get alliance to 6 here pretty easily. Okay, special relationship to Poke UK, that makes sense. Yeah, I would have really liked to have those 6 VPs. Yeah, now anyone who is familiar with my streams knows that I like to event Salt, but I would be happy to trigger it for. Be happy to play it for Ops here and trigger Alliance rather than the opposite. Okay, Jim does pick up 2 VPs with Quagmire. Yeah, so Jim kind of had a little bit of a choice to make this turn. He could have used nuke subs and tried coups in Africa, but instead he wanted to spread out, which I like. Still could trigger nuke subs right here. He needs mill ops, so you could trigger nuke subs, coup with Salt, and then coup with Brezhnev, and flip over Africa. Honestly, it's late in the turn, but I don't mind nuke subs here at all. Okay, Jim going to try for the double space instead, gets rid of Vietnam, and now has headline peak. France still sitting there at 2-1. Nobody wants it. Okay, and Jim with another VP. There goes Defectors, going to take Iraq. I don't understand. Nuke Subs is a great event here. Nuke Subs gets us a coup in Nigeria, evens out Africa, also gets us mill ops. I don't like filling. Israel is not going to matter for Middle East Dom. Yeah, and now now I just take France back with Brezhnev. I think that's fine. Yeah, I would do that. It's unimaginative, but I think it's a fine play. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brezhnev 3 in France is how I would play it. My viewers know that I'm a France overprotector, and so it's killing me that France is just sitting out there for the taking. South Africa is not contested, and it's not going to make an immediate impact on Africa Dom. Okay, Jim really wants to focus on unscored regions here, which I understand to a point. But France is an important country. This game is also at 1 VP for Josiah, so there's a very good chance this game goes to final. It's not as if either player needs to play for the win now or to prevent a win now. Okay, this hand is a little bit more problematic, particularly because Jim cannot space 2s. This is a "We will bury you" headline, though. This is absolutely a "We will." I think it's still a "We will bury you" headline. You UN something, and save the 3 VPs, and then you play U2. I like "We will bury you" as the headline here. That also stops a Thailand coup. "We will bury you" means we cannot eat a Thailand coup. Now, Quagmire's gone. We still could see Missile Envy. To get the 3 VPs. I like this is a "We will bury you" headline for me. 100% of the time. Salt is a fine event, but it can wait. I like "We will bury you." We get it out. We drop DEFCON, so he can't take 2 coups. We get it out without giving up any VPs, and then we're able to UN, Fidel or Libs, which is probably Libs. And we maybe stomach Fidel, or we use salt so we can hold it. Yeah, good. Yes, I like this. Do this, Jim. Yes, I like it. I like it. Good play. Now, Josiah, if he really wanted Thailand, he could brute force it with ops, but not going to do that, and I think that's wise. Takes a coup on Argentina instead, just enough to get one in there, and now can solidify his foothold there. Okay, and he's going to play cultural, probably take Argentina, and he's got to take Libya back. Yep, Muslim Revolution is gone. Now we will UN. I think Libs is correct because. And then if we do give Fidel, it's at least gone forever. Yeah, VOA is great here, but I think we want to stop the 3 VPs. VOA is going to be good next AR2. Yeah, I like this. Okay, so the downside is Josiah is going to respond by taking Paraguay, but VOA is still going to do great work for us in Africa. Yeah, VOA okay, this is fine too. That is fine too. Okay, Middle East, Josiah with just 3 VPs though. That could have been a lot worse. Jim did fight there. And we'll see what Jim wants to do with Fidel. He can't space it. He also made Che was free, so maybe Jim should not have taken Uruguay. Maybe he should have done something else. Hoped that Josiah didn't expand out of Argentina and then use VOA. The other thing is he made Che no longer free, so Che probably is going to go to space now rather than allow a Uruguay coup. We'll see. Jim also probably he might want to event SALT so he can hold Fidel and China. Cultural was just played for ops, so Jim will be hanging on can hang on to China for the foreseeable future if he likes. I like SALT here. Okay, you having to give Usuri is brutal. I'm not sure I understand the play from Josiah to refuse to give our man but give Usuri. Josiah's best regions are scored. Maybe worried about, losing a card like OPEC. Okay. Well, Jim can flip India if he wants to. Or he can just take France back. Or he can event SALT. Jim needs his mill ops, and he's not going to get them unless he events SALT. No, that's fine. This is fine, but I still like the idea of getting mill ops and eventing SALT. And we can't event SALT on AR7 because of the mill op situation. So if we're going to event SALT, we have to event at AR6. Okay, getting the Pope is nice. Yeah, I like that. I like that play from Josiah. Yeah, Jim wrote off Millops last turn. Could have triggered nuke subs and could in Africa once or even twice to get his Millops last turn. This turn could have invented Salt to get his Millops. Not going to do that either. I would, again, you guys know how I feel about France. I would just take Salt and I'd pump the 3 right back into France. But I would have taken France long ago. Okay, one in South Africa is fine. And there's OAS. Actually, not that big a deal. I would put the two in Cuba and take central control, I think. Ortega is on space. Yeah, I mean, do we need that third in Panama? Junta is around, but Libs is gone. Jim, no, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Oh, no, because now you allow a coup in Nicaragua, potentially to. Um, oh, okay, all right. We're going to realign Fidel and hold Salt. Okay, well, that did not work out, and now Josiah with still one in Cuba. Okay, Jim picks up Brush, turn 6, hangs on to Salt. France still sitting out there. Missile Envy is around, could be in Josiah's hand. We Will Bury You's gone, so it is safe, and would be a little bit annoying for Jim because he's got Brush War in his hand. Yep, and there's Missile Envy. So he's going to give Flower Power to Missile Envy, which is not the end of the world. As a matter of fact, maybe that is an argument for a Brush headline. Maybe you headline Brush here to save the two VPs. Although CMC is pretty good. You also could hold Brush War, but headlining Brush of Algeria is pretty good here. But you do give up a coup, and now you're not going to give up a coup with CMC. So I understand the play from Jim. Meantime, Josiah needs to fill up Cuba so that he can take out with. He can take it out for CMC. Okay, and just going to fill up Cuba, and we're going to see a coup of Haiti. So now Josiah probably will take 2 out of Cuba and then go ahead and coup Haiti. Oh, and that's a brutal one. That's a brutal one. I would realign. I would absolutely realign here if I'm Jim. No doubt about it. Okay, it hits the roll, and now he has an even shot at Zaire. Misses on that. Aw, thanks. Thanks, Timmy. Appreciate it. Thanks for redeeming your channel points or whatever it is. Okay, Josiah takes the coup, which I like, which forces Jim's hand. Now, I would have to think, yeah, Jim now has to decide: does he want to give Cuba back up, or does he want to take it? I think you take it, or take it be damned. We might see a Brush hold from Jim here with Flower Power in effect. Sock Govs to space makes sense. France still sitting out there. OPEC for influence. Okay, OPEC could have been 3 VPs. Instead, it does that. Which, if Josiah has Africa scoring, Josiah almost certainly has Africa scoring. Figures, okay, I'll get my 3 VPs. I'll get the same 3 VPs from Africa Dom, and then I'll actually have made an impact on the board. Okay, brush protection makes sense too. But I would rather take VPs. Josiah with an 8 VP lead, but he is controlled in both Americas, and neither of those scorings have come yet. Yeah, brush war protection makes sense. Josiah back in there, takes the African non-battlegrounds. So he punts on the 3 VPs from OPEC, but he gets them right back. Oh, and there's Central. That's brutal. And does Josiah also have South America is the question. And is Jim going to go for Hassan realigns? We might see Hassan realigns here. Yeah, just take South Africa back, I think. One more in France. Oh, and no South America. Okay, so a break for Josiah that South America doesn't come till turn 7. Now we'll see. I think you try Hassan realigns here. Even if you miss, South America is still 8. Okay, he hits on with a 6-1. Okay, and now turn 7, Jim picks up Junta in addition to the brush war he held over. Junta was Josiah's last hope of contesting South America unless he redrew ABM. Yes. Oh, I already have many times, Jordan. This is ridiculous. France sitting there, takeable by both players from turn 3 AR1 to right here on turn 7. In fact, it wasn't even. It was in the entire time. It's been a situation where one player could take it with 4 ops. Decall is definitely annoying. It can give Josiah Dom. Junta doesn't do anything for us is the problem. Junta does really nothing. It was mostly just about Junta keeping Junta out of Josiah's hand. We cannot use it to lower DEFCON. So lads makes sense. You want to give Josiah the -1 on his inevitable coup in South America. And if it does hit, we can try and use Junta for realigns, or we can use Brush to try and flip the country back right away. Okay, just going to try 2-op coup. And maybe, I haven't been keeping track of it. Does Josiah maybe have 5-year plan? Josiah, perhaps Josiah just is giving up on South America entirely, and just saying that you can have your 10. I'll fight in other regions. Okay, Jim wants to stop Asia Dom. Shuttle could be a good event, but I think we do need the ops. Jim also in a position where he could get controlled in Africa. So Josiah, I don't know what cards are known in Josiah's hand. He might have 5-year plan. Which would be a disaster for Jim. Somebody needs to take France. Will somebody take France? Somebody just take France, maybe? Wow, that's an early Kennedy. But again, most of Jim's hand is known. I would absolutely get rid of C5. Absolutely get rid of C5 in case we draw scoring. That's not probably what we wanted to see. Yeah, that's much worse. Oh, there it is. France is taken. Congratulations, Josiah. Okay. Yeah, Junta does next to nothing for us here. D-Stall can get space. D-Stall, it's not even that big a deal right now, but it does get Josiah presence in the Americas at least. Oh, that's right. Southeast Asia scoring is still around. So if Josiah does have 5-year plan, he's he's got a VP lead, and there it goes. Okay, so Jim does pick up 3 VPs, hits that space roll, which is critically important, and Jim's also going to pick up 2 more. Okay, no 5-year plan, so 10 more. Now another 2. Okay, then VP track just like that shifts from 5 red to 14 blue in an instant. Josiah spaces to stop the double. He hits the roll. I think you got to play Nixon here to take back China. Gunman is around. Yeah, spacing brush is not crazy. Yeah, and this is weird, but I absolutely would play Junta for ops here. I think you've got to play Junta for ops, coup in Africa, get your mill ops. Yeah, you have to give Willie here, but the canceling of NATO for West Germany could matter. Oh, okay, that's interesting. You give libs, then you can use Junta to lower DEFCON. Okay, because I was thinking we just hold it. I was thinking we just hold it, but okay, we need to get our mill ops. Okay, oh yeah, this makes sense too. Okay, we take Libya. I would go Libya here, just enough. And of course, we get Reagan Miles, but we also get Ortega. We also get Ortega. And no way out of it other than obviously to play China. Okay, ABM. So we can headline Ortega. Thank goodness for Headline Peak. This is an automatic Ortega headline, I would think, to get rid of it with us having a 12 VP lead and control in both Americas. Automatic Ortega headline. Yep. Yep. And Marine barracks bombing is an empty action round. The Latin American debt crisis is completely 100% free. Iran Contra AR-7. Libs is annoying, but not the end of the world. Yeah, free LADC. I expect a coup here in Costa Rica, followed by a swing at maybe Egypt. But everything's overprotected here, other than, of course, Brazil, but Brazil's realignable. Yeah, we don't really have anything we want to discard the Latin American debt crisis. I would be playing that AR-1. Big 4-op coup in Egypt. Yep, not quite enough. Well, now I think we got to play. You play 5-year plan and take Egypt back. Mexico can wait. Mexico can wait, right? Okay. Sadat and Nasser are both gone. Um, yeah, Jim wanted to make sure he doesn't have the scoring. Yeah, yeah, okay. But Josiah UN's Cal, he's going to take Egypt and with it a Middle East Dom, and also going to take a Europe Dom. Now Jim can easily respond to that. Yeah, turn off those shenanigans right now. But yeah, if Josiah had Central, then it would be just 2, as it was, but becomes now 7. So it is a big swing. Marine Barracks is not a problem. We can just repair this. Jim needs his mill ops again. CRGs. That's very annoying. Yep, Algeria is fine. Even though it's realignable, I like Algeria. Yeah, let's get our mill ops. I like this. I think I like Cameroon a little bit better because that stops both Nigeria and Zaire from being realignable if we decide we want to flip it. But Saharan's fine. Okay, so yeah, see now, I mean Afghanistan doesn't seem to be important here, but now Josiah didn't have to overprotect Zaire because if we flip it, it's going to be realigned at +2. Now we take Junta for ops. Show me you're winning without showing me you're winning. Is a Junta played for ops. Interesting Chafer influence. That could have cooed both Cameroon and Saharan. Instead, just protects Nigeria. Okay, AR6. Jim hanging on to 5-year plan for some reason. South Africa, though, now realignable at +2 for Josiah. Yeah, okay. Well, if you got to give North Sea, then yeah, you do that. Yeah, Jim realizing that poking Egypt doesn't stop Middle East Elm, you have to flip it over. I think I might have used. I think I would have used 5-year plan on AR1 to take Egypt back. Okay, turn 9. Okay, we get terrorism, and we get defectors, which is big. We also get Chernobyl and solidarity, which is interesting. Okay, well that's a nice easy defectors. Easy defectors. Yeah, that's big. Okay, so DEFCON no longer a problem. Aldrich gone. Terrorism in our hand. Jim could use Chernobyl and Solidarity to flip over Poland. Oh, and there's a purge. Mexico, good enough on the coup. But I think Jim's probably fine with that. I think so. Chernobyl here, followed by Solidarity and NTB, flips Europe Dom, takes Europe to 6. It gets us very close. Although I don't know where Warsaw is. I don't know where Warsaw is. So Warsaw could be a big problem. The fact that East Germany is at 6 suggests to me Warsaw was played. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Warsaw was played. Central America Dom is only a 2 VP swing. I think I like triggering Chernobyl and fighting for Poland if Warsaw's gone. If it is gone. Which I think it is, given that East Germany is at 6. Okay. Yep. Somebody was mentioning taking Costa Rica so you have a non battleground. Okay, that will stop Dom and reestablish Dom in the Middle East. I like that. South Africa. See, the problem is Jim gets realigned out of South Africa and Africa gets scored for 10. This is a brand new ball game, and Jim all of a sudden isn't looking so good. Okay, that makes sense. I think I like maybe two Pakistan here. Because if we flip Pakistan, we get Asia Dom. Two Angola is fine, but even if we flip that, we're still dominated in Africa. Whereas if we flip Pakistan, that makes Asia our dom. Angola is fine. I like Pakistan a little better, but Angola is fine. I guess particularly with IP war in our hand, maybe he's disinclined to go for Pakistan. Okay, decides to go one Guatemala to stop Dom in Central and takes one out of Angola as well, so it's susceptible to a flip. Jim may want to trigger IP war sooner rather than later before Afghanistan gets taken. He needs his mill ops even with flower power gone. NORAD reestablish and two into Japan, which is interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay, takes coup on Guatemala, which makes sense. Josiah still showing a reticence to realigning South Africa. Okay, there goes Middle East before Jim can retake Egypt, but still stops Dom. Another 1 VP for Josiah. And now, still though, still four regions out there unscored. Okay, there's cultural. Losing China is unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world because we don't have a DEFCON problem. Gunman is around, but Aldrich and Terror are gone. Okay, Jim gonna finally give up libs, which he's been hanging on to for a while. Yeah, and then we got to repair Cuba. Josiah had all kinds of opportunities to realign South Africa, didn't take it. Jim finally flips Angola. It's turn 9. Jim with a... Okay, U.S. Japan to space. I like solidarity here. Go ahead and hold IP war. I like solidarity, I think. We don't need mill ops. Well, okay, and here we go. Turn 10. Grain CIA. We do get Central, but we don't have Dom anymore. Don't used to have Control. But grain is huge because grain gets us a coup in Africa, and maybe we stop Dom there. If assuming we can stop Dom in Africa, should be a comfortable win for Jim. He's up battlegrounds in Central. He controls South. Middle East should be even. Asia, Jim is gonna. Asia will be red, but it's not going to be a domination. Salt. What is Salt going to pull? Yeah, that's the other reason I would have liked. I would have liked to hold IP war is because we have Evil Empire in our hand, so could have triggered that, and then both wars would be free. Instead, we gave up 2 VPs to the war and didn't create a threat. Okay, how I learned is interesting, but I think I really want to get a coup in Africa. Okay. Josiah says he's thinking about war games. Which I understand, but okay, so Josiah looks like, so after this, we've got to score Africa if you have it. Now, what's Josiah going to pick up? I don't know what's in the discard here that is desirable. Also, Japan is sitting out there. U.S. Japan is in the discard, but it's not likely to decide domination. Interesting. Got to take NTB. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Josiah worried about missile envy. Okay. All right. So no. Okay. Well, missile envy wouldn't have been that big a deal. So I am a little confused by NTB pull. Star Wars is a problem. Okay, so I see. If Jim has missile envy, it doesn't do it discourages Jim from inventing missile envy if he has it, and it means you can raise DEFCON to stop war games. But the problem is Jim seems to have this one. It's close, but I am showing. So Jim with a 4 VP lead. Africa is 4 for Josiah right now, so that's even. But Jim is up. Central's even as well, but Jim is up 10 in South America. Middle East is going to be even. Europe just 1 for Josiah, and Asia 3 max, and that's if Josiah does in fact take Japan. I don't think that's going to be enough. Okay, OPEC was not eventable because North Sea was triggered. I think we get Central out of our hand. We need to get Central out of our hand, or if we're going to fight for Japan, we better do that now. Still not good enough for Dom though. Both will have 7, but playing China would be enough. I don't mind this. Josiah also with Reformer, so this does get interesting there. Yeah, Jim with some obligations here. He wants to. I guess you can hold Iran-Iraq War. You're not triggering the event, so you can hold Iran-Iraq War. So you don't need to event Evil Empire, but you can if you want to. So Josiah now can, but yeah, that's the problem. So Josiah can use China, go to Japan, flip Laos. That's exactly what he's going to do, and that takes Dom. And now, yeah, Asia Dom wasn't on the table, and now it is. That reestablishes Central Dom. Okay. We know Josiah does not have Asia scoring. Central's just 2, though. Not much in the way of opportunity here for Josiah to coup in Central. Everything's overprotected. Josiah does need his mill ops as well. Okay, big 4 I'll play. Oh, he is going to take Honduras. Okay, that forces Jim's hand. He's got to do this. Yep, he's got to do that. Omit doesn't do anything. Yeah, you don't put anything in the discard here. Uh, Grain pulls EEU. How much does this do, though? I don't know how much the event does, because we're not taking Poland. I would have cooed Haiti, which reestablishes Central Dom, I think. I don't think that was a great play from Jim, because now even with Solidarity, we have to score, and then we just have Solidarity left. Okay, let's do the math on the board. Europe's even, Central's even. 5 on the board, 5 on the VP track, 10 in South America is 15 for Jim, 16 with China. Josiah with 4 in Africa. Middle East is even. And Josiah with, call it 6 in Asia. Okay, is this enough for Dom? It is, and yeah, Jim's gonna have to score. Okay, so now Josiah with 5 in Europe. And 7 in Asia is 12. Africa's 4 makes it 16. Jim with 5 on the board, 10 in South America, 1 with China. He also has 16. I think this is dead even. I think this is dead even if I am thinking about it right. And ties are playdeck criteria, which means U.S. wins in final scoring. Solidarity event right now is 5 VPs. That's enough for Jim. Solidarity event, or even just solidarity for ops breaking Poland is enough. So Josiah needs to do something else. Josiah cannot break West Germany. He cannot break a battleground. I don't think he's got a 4 in his hand. This game is dead even. So what can Josiah do to create VPs? He can't do anything in South America. I think this is a Middle East poke, maybe. But yeah, even then, yeah, he needs Josiah to have a 1-up. I confess, I don't remember what is in Josiah's hand here. Oh, that's right. A Middle East poke doesn't give Dom. It's just 1 VP. Josiah already has Asia Dom. Poke of Cuba is nothing. I would now even if you realign Angola and hit the roll at even, it's still only a 2 VP swing. Jim, conversely, even if Josiah protects Europe, Jim can use solidarity to poke Iraq, which does give him Dom. So there's not much for Josiah here to do here. Miracle realigns of Cuba, even if you hit it, you still only have 2 in there, and it's still only 1 VP. Yeah, I think Josiah needs Jim to have Asia, and he doesn't have it, obviously. Okay, coup of Uruguay. Yeah, it does give 2 VPs for South America. Nuke subs. Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah, that's just a 1 VP poke, and solidarity event is good enough. Yep, solidarity for the event is good enough. Well played by both players. Jim takes the victory in a narrow win, so Jim moves on to the finals to face Ryan Pindelik in a best of 5. Josiah falls to the 3rd place matchup, and he'll get Scott Sennin. Both those players going to Champions League. But it's a question of what qualifying round they'll be playing in. Thank you guys, everybody, for watching. Thanks, Josiah, for tuning in the chat. Congratulations to Jim for reaching the finals of Atlantic League this season, and I look forward to watching him in the finals. Looking forward to also watching Josiah versus Scott in the 3rd place matchup. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day. That was fun, but now it's done. So long, everybody.